It's Friday night footy in MLS Next Pro, and we are so glad that you have found us here on MLSNextPro.com and, of course, the One Football app. Coming at you live from the Pacific Northwest, a beautiful, soft spring evening here at Starfire Stadium for St. Louis City 2, still undefeated on the season. They come in on the road to face Tacoma Defiance, still looking for their first win of 2026. But for the home team, they can take some inspiration from last week when last place Colorado went up 2 goals on St. Louis City and really made things interesting. Our starting lineups are as follows. First for Tacoma Defiance, under first-year head coach Paulo Nagamura. We'll have it for you as a 5-2-3. Could see some shifts as they've had to make a couple changes to the team. Damian Alvarez coming in at center back, and Mitchell Emmert, his first professional start at left back. Of course, Yusuke Nome, very familiar to the Next Pro fans as an accomplished goal scorer with 21 last season. Leo Flores, coming off a goal in the last game, gets the start up top. And for St. Louis City 2, they bring back just 1 first-team player after starting with 5 in their last match. That is Tyson Pierce at right wing back. A front 3 of Palmer Alt, Riley Lynch, and Cooper Forcellini, which has been dynamic to say the least, as City 2 ranks 2nd in MLS Next Pro with 16 goals scored this season. And those 3 up top do most of the damage. His 18-year-old Lucas McPartland making his 4th start of the year in goal. When we mentioned it briefly last week, St. Louis City 2 pushed to the brink by Colorado Rapids. They went down 2-0 in the first half. They went down a man in the second half, and they were still able to claw it back, take it to penalties, and keep their undefeated mark on the season alive. They arrive first place in the Western Conference standings, coming off of their Supporters Shield win last year, and they are 4 wins, 2 draws in 6 matches this season. They've won both of those shootouts. Tacoma Defiance, on the other hand, 3 points from their first 6 matches. They have lost 4 and drawn 2. Both of those draws have come here at home. In their last time out, they fell on the final kick of the game to Vancouver Whitecaps 2. A couple of teams whose early seasons have been drenched in drama. So this Friday night footy could have some fun things in store for us. Kickoff on the way from Starfire Sports Complex. Parker Johnson here with you to take you all the way through on MLSNextPro.com and the One Football app. St. Louis on the road in white with pink numbers, and Tacoma at home in black with the green stripes across the front. Leo Flores chasing down the St. Louis center back there, getting the start up top with Yusuke Nome playing just underneath him, number 36 in black. Can kind of expect those two to do a lot of the creating for Tacoma as the ball is played over the top. Riley Lynch looking to pull it back for Forcellini. Lynch here set to take the throw in. He was the man who really sparked that comeback against Colorado Rapids 2 last Friday. Team was down 2-0 at halftime, and they had 3 first-teamers in the attack to start that match. Lynch comes on at halftime, and it was like the magic salve for head coach David Critchley, getting a more familiar face in there. Forcellini also came on after 45 minutes. He is the man tracking it down here, working against Gallatin Sandnes in the corner, the academy center back for Tacoma. Lynch and Forcellini powering that comeback. Lynch had the assist to Palmer Alt on the first goal that they got back, and then he ended up scoring the equalizer several minutes into stoppage time to send it to penalty kicks. That's a great run from St. Louis. Forcellini goes down, draws the contact, and an early penalty kick for the visitors. Tacoma has barely touched the ball, and they could not touch Cooper Forcellini. But how much contact is there in that? He was looking for it, but he's already beaten 2 defenders. He's done the hard work there, Cooper Forcellini, and he's forced the referee to make a decision. Sidney Paris taking the ball first, and he lobs it over to Forcellini. He scored his penalty kick in the shootout win against Colorado. He drew this one less than 3 minutes in. He hesitates, he shoots, and it's stopped by Max Anker. A defining moment in the opening portion of the match, and Tacoma will feel justified on what looked to be a soft penalty. Forcellini unable to convert, and can the home team strike on the momentum? Gaffney made inroads down towards the corner flag, but it's given back to St. Louis. Alt couldn't hold it up. Carly crashing in through the midfield, and Forcellini showing his moves yet again. And it's Riley Lynch breezing past Mitchell Emmert. Falls to the top of the box, McDonald. Now Paris. Hit with some venom, but wide of the far post as St. Louis trying to regain some control. An uber fast start. And Max Anker keeping up his strong performance, coming off a match last week where they did concede 2 in that loss to Vancouver, but Anker was playing against the former team where he spent the last few seasons. He was waived by him, and he got 7 saves against his former team. Also, nearly had an assist in that match, completed all of his short passes. He was brilliant all around in his goalkeeping play. He's the man with the biggest moment so far for Tacoma. All of a sudden, though, St. Louis in the box again. This time it's Pierce. Speed of play, a real indicator into how the St. Louis attack is firing, and that ball is zipping around in the early going. They play a couple short, and then they look over the top for Alt, who it looks like fouled his defender there. But for Tacoma, this is essentially a goal kick, and they will try to draw in the press from St. Louis. Sticking to their principles here, playing it out of the back, and Flores has to hold it up. Head coach Paulo Nagamura of Tacoma Defiance had a lot of praise for his young striker, Leo Flores, 18-year-old academy player who scored his first professional goal against Vancouver to put them 1-0 up at that point in the game. Fortunately, they did end up conceding, throwing away that lead. But Flores came on at halftime, and he scored just a couple minutes after his introduction. Nagamura said he provided a much different presence, and it was about his all-around play. It was the way that he was able to drop in, connect the lines, hold the ball up when required, but also mix that in with a real ability to run the channels. And the goal that he did score was a pure striker's finish. Lynch twisting up Emmert again, but the young defender does well to stick with it. Emmert thrown into the fire right away here. And the 17-year-old is able to at least force it out for a corner. No surprise that a lot of the attacks are going through Riley Lynch, though. The way he's been playing, tied for the league lead with 4 assists. He gets it on the short corner routine. Near post, looking for an angle to shoot. Wagner trying to recycle it. Center backs came forward, Lillington and then Pearson getting tangled up. Mark O'Neal bursting up the sideline. And it was a professional foul there from St. Louis to make sure that he couldn't come out of the escape hatch on the right wing. Mark O'Neal can play a number of positions. Doesn't often find himself out on the flank, but given his versatility that he's shown this season, I wouldn't be surprised if he could do a job out there as well. You see number 40 coming short for this free kick. Starred at center back for Whitecaps FC2 last year in his first pro season, coming out of Creighton. And over the last few games, he's been used as a defensive midfielder by Tacoma in the absence of Xavi Nyaulati, who is back on the bench for this one, but not fit to start. O'Neal able to put his ball-playing ability to good use back there, and then still has those stern qualities of a top center back. Gomez played forward to Carley, and he was no match for Lillington at the back. 2 very physical center halves between Lillington and Pearson back there for St. Louis. It's a much smaller front line for Tacoma. Gaffney trying to split the lines. O'Neal checks his shoulder and spins it back. Curled into the channel, Flores tracking. He's claiming that was a back pass. No signal from the referee. If that was intentional and McPartland picked it up with his hands, it would have been an indirect free kick inside the box. Brandon Stevis has had to make a couple of big decisions in the early going, awarding the early penalty to St. Louis, which was saved by Max Anchor. If you joined us a few minutes late, that was the big turning point of the match so far. Tacoma yet to really create a good attacking opportunity, as St. Louis, as expected, have started off very strong away from home. Got Seattle Sounders and City SC going head-to-head in MLS here in Seattle tomorrow night. And then both teams had some midweek action in their respective cup competitions as well. The first teams did. St. Louis City notching a win in the Open Cup, taking on FC Tulsa. They won 4-0 in that match, and former MLS Next Pro standout Makai Joyner scoring a brilliant free kick goal. Gomez spearing inside. His shot blocked by Lillington, but recovered on the far side. Gaffney. Alvarez. Tsukunome. These are the phases of build-up where Paulo Nagamura has been impressed with his team's ability to improve throughout the season. The goals haven't come yet, but it's getting better, and that's a great ball into Tsukunome. Falls free at the back post. Flores was waiting in the middle, but well marshaled by the St. Louis center halves. Tacoma go again here. And that was just a perfect illustration of how things have gone in the attack for Defiance. So much of the buildup is right, and it's finalizing the actions that Paulo Nagamura said he's been waiting to see from his team. Just 3 goals scored this season. They'll have a nice set piece here for Sebastian Gomez to consider as we hit the 13-minute mark on this crisp spring evening at Starfire Stadium. It's Gomez and Carly considering. Lots of bodies forward for Tacoma. Lillington got his head to it first. That will be a corner kick upcoming for Defiance. It's played in at a perfect angle and speed. I think that was Gaffney getting close for Tacoma as the intended target. Rather, Alvarez. They got some good targets. O'Neal, 6'4", Alvarez, 6'3". Jasper Winslow, 6'2", making a nuisance of himself around the 6-yard box. Top of the box. That was drawn up for Edson Carly to put his laces through it. Not a bad attempt. It's a crunchy challenge from Yu Tsukunome. Doesn't want St. Louis to be able to regain that rhythm that they enjoyed for the opening 5 minutes or so. Tacoma has responded so well. Really taking control of this most recent phase of play. Now you can see St. Louis pushing back as the early stages ebb and flow. Out wide, cross comes in from DeGans. And the foul coming out for Tacoma. This portion of the match is brought to you by your locally owned and operated McDonald's. Anchor asking for help. O'Neal comes to help him play it out. It's short, and then it's played through for Flores. They're going to have to be creative with how they get the ball to their striker up against the 3 center backs of St. Louis. Wagner. Well, the referee has deflected that quite nicely into the path of the St. Louis attacker, but after it struck him, they had to blow that play dead. St. Louis will get it back. Emmert going in on Lynch this time, being the aggressor in that duel and winning it. First time he's gotten the better of the St. Louis City attacker as he is growing into this match. Emmert making his first professional start at age 17, just his second appearance with the second team. Holtz offside. Emmert was a very interesting case. He makes his pro debut earlier this year, or I should say this time last year against the Town FC. It was his only other appearance, and he came on for 5 minutes as a substitute in the last match against Vancouver, but he was supposed to come on earlier in the match. There was a little bit of a mix-up with the jersey number and how it was listed on the roster, and he had to wait to come on when there was an injury to Cody Phoenix. He ends up coming on much later in the game as the second half substitute. Only got about 5 minutes in that one, but Phoenix has remained out, and they got everything sorted in time for the start of this match, and he's in there from the jump. Man, going up against one of the most informed wingers in MLS Next Pro, and Riley Lynch. That is a way to get up to speed real fast. They've picked out Lynch again, and there's lots of space in behind Emmert that he can try to work into. Turns him around, scoops it backside. Shoveled out by Tacoma. Gomez did well to hold it up. Carly couldn't get it into the feet of Flores. It's well read by Lillington to step in there. And again, that's that matchup of 3 center backs against the 1 center forward for Tacoma. The center back who is marking Flores knows that he can take a risk and try to step in and intercept it a little bit further out of his position, because he knows he's got 2 other center backs to help cover, and Tacoma aren't playing with another striker. We'll see at times if Sukanome can make some advanced runs and provide a second presence in some of those spaces, but there it is again with 5 white jerseys circling around and sharking down Flores. I mean, it's just a battle that he can't win without a little bit more support. The 3 center backs, tough enough to work against, and then you throw in the polished defensive midfield presence of Patrick McDonald and Jack Wagner, 2 uber experienced guys, young pros who are really setting the standard for St. Louis. Wagner, number 44, the only player who has started all 7 matches for David Critchley this season. And that tandem really has everything that they need in those midfield pockets. Setting the tempo, winning duels, and really just laying the table for those attackers to express themselves ahead of them. Flores up against it and concedes the ball to CITY2. Forcellini working against Emmert. Going back to goal. Getting some help now from Lillington. Carves a through ball down into the right half space. Took some contact after he delivered it. Carly stabbing in on Forcellini, but the referee was watchful. He's right on top of it. Didn't see enough to blow the whistle. Free man up the side for Tacoma. Gomez coming in on the backside. It's behind everyone. Gomez first to track it down. The quick buildup. creating a lane for Gaffney, who's got the ball back here. Couldn't pick out his cross. It was a very similar pattern to the one that produced Tacoma's goal for Flores against Whitecaps FC2. It's a quick switch of play. Gaffney played a one-touch ball in behind, and Flores was in the middle. He's making a darting run as Gomez sends it towards the center. O'Neal started it a bit too wide. This portion of the match is brought to you by Providence Swedish, official healthcare partner of Seattle Sounders FC. Sights and sounds of Starfire Sports Complex. Many a dramatic tie played here over the years. These teams have matched up 4 previous times in Tacoma and split those 2 wins apiece. Those are the only 2 wins that Tacoma has in the series overall, with St. Louis holding a 5-0-1 advantage at home. They only played once last season, Tacoma earning a 4-1 win in April. Their first win against St. Louis since all the way back in 2022. That was really the part of the season for CITY2 that was the only blip. From there, they took fire. Emmert, near post shot, stinging the palm of Lucas McPartland. Emmert has been waiting for that opportunity to join in the attack. He takes it so well, and that is sneaking in. An alert save by the academy goalkeeper, McPartland. Confidence growing, though, for Tacoma as the corner comes in from Gomez. McPartland swipes at it, going for the second opportunity, nearly makes a mess of it. That was how they gave up the first goal against Colorado, with McPartland coming out and dropping it right to the feet of the Rapids 2 striker. He's very good in his overall game, McPartland. But that is one area where he's had some inconsistencies, tracking those balls in the air and making clean catches. So something for Tacoma potentially to keep trying to exploit. And it's yet another swing in the tempo of this match. A good spell here for Defiance, responding after conceding an early penalty kick, which was saved by Max Anchor off the boot of Forcellini. Gomez trying to go through the legs of Lillington. Does well to keep it from going out of play. He's being held back. Finds Emmert, who goes down. Lillington boots it away. Risking a caution there, the big center half. The referee's taking a sympathetic view, and it is a free kick to Tacoma. Mark O'Neal making the point that Lillington kicked the ball away afterwards. Usually that's a pretty open and shut case to earn yourself a yellow card, but it is O'Neal's purview as the captain to have that conversation with the referee. Does so very respectfully. It is frowned upon to ask for cards for opponents, but the rules are the rules. So 27th minute. Service coming from Gomez. Good ball in, flicked header. Sukanome looking dangerous. Emmert is the last man back. He's forced to go to the goalkeeper, who will launch it back up as Tacoma try to restart the attack quickly. O'Neal had stayed forward. Lillington is down off the ball. Play continues as McDonald rotates it into the back line. Lillington back up and looking spry. Foul through the back, committed by O'Neal. Not a particularly dangerous position. CITY2 happy to just play it short from here. Real toe-to-toe matchup. Coming in, you look at the records, and Tacoma Defiance 12th in the Western Conference standings. St. Louis high and dry at the top. First place yet again. No losses on the year for St. Louis. No wins yet for Tacoma. But if you looked at the underlying data and you looked at some of the performances recently, a competitive match was always coming here at Starfire. According to the expected points table, Tacoma would be third in the West. That is based on the expected goals that they've created and the expected goals that they've conceded defensively. So you could make a case based on their underperformance in that metric that they are the single unluckiest team in MLS Next Pro this year. That's the stance that Nagamura has taken in many less words, but he said that even their last-minute loss against Vancouver was a positive performance, and he really has maintained a sense of pride in the way that his team has continued to develop, continued to grow offensively. Even though the goals haven't been coming, he knows that the results will be there. And if this team just keeps working every single day to get better, that before long, that first win will be theirs. It would certainly send some shockwaves if they do it against St. Louis, but likewise, CITY2 have really played with fire on occasion. We mentioned their crazy comeback against Colorado. It wasn't even the first time that they've had to make a comeback down to 10 men this season. They also did the same against LAFC, winning that shootout as well. So it looks good in the points tally, but there are areas that they could definitely clean up. Bit of a touch in the back there from O'Neal, who gets away with it and knocks it over the top. A little over-eager. Maybe better off trying to keep the ball there. St. Louis trying to crank up the heat before halftime, but passes like that are not going to do it. O'Neal given the warning just in time there to avoid the pressure from behind from Palmer Alt. It's been quiet so far, the star striker for CITY2. But he only needs that one moment, a half opening in front of goal. He's been able to find each and every one this season. This portion of the match is brought to you by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, a tribe known for being generous and welcoming to all people. Regained by Tacoma. Gaffney fires in across. Lillington stooping down his 6'6" frame to connect. Wagner. Snake hips as he swivels forward. Lynch confronted by Emmert again. Forced inside to pass it off to McDonald. Tacoma sinking into a lower block now. Tsukunome deflecting. It's been a staple of the play with Tsukunoma dropping into much deeper positions this year. He's always been more of that second striker profile, despite the impressive goal scoring numbers. But you look at the lack of goals from Tacoma, and it does seem like the most obvious answer on paper that if he could get a little closer to the goal more consistently, it would have a real strong payoff, especially when you see him defending for large stretches like this. And the shot blazed over the top. It did take a touch, though. Whether that was a slight deflection or a fingertip from Anchor, or both, perhaps, it does result in the St. Louis corner. Tsukunome will have to use up some more energy here defending this one, as a couple kick-ups from DeGans, who makes his signals, and we'll see what that means for CITY2. Well, it probably didn't mean that delivery, but the second ball is good, on the doorstep, and tapped home by Lynch. Tacoma sleeping on the second ball, and CITY2 take a 1-0 lead. It's such a poor first delivery, and the clearance comes right back to DeGans, who makes no mistake with the second one. Riley Lynch could not miss from there. But it's just a complete breakdown for Tacoma, not staying alive in the second phase with their set piece defending, and those are the margins. St. Louis finds so many goals by squeezing their opponents until they lose their focus at the final instant. So for Lynch, now his second straight game with a goal. Add that to his 4 assists this season, which is tied for the lead in MLS Next Pro. And he's close to rivaling Palmer Alt's 8 goal contributions on the season. Wagner bringing it down off of his thigh. Now it's Alt. Sandnes getting in defensively. A needed block as it fell to the deadly striker. Forcellini has Riley Lynch as the short option here. Two defenders out there for Tacoma. And much thinner numbers inside the penalty area. Low near post ball, seeking out Paris. Surely he's offside there. Yep, taking the corner kick. Pretty hard to stay onside from that position if you don't immediately drop back a few yards. Lynch doesn't win his duel. And he offers the ball back to Tacoma. Emmert inverting from left back and starting the play, which finds O'Neal. Looking for that ball into the gap. Gaffney has gotten free a couple of times. And that is the soft spot in the St. Louis back line. We've talked about how much of a mismatch it is through the middle with the one forward for Tacoma against the three center backs, but in that 3-4-3 shape, there is room down the outside channels. That's where this ball comes into Gomez on the left side. McPartland swiftly out of goal to clean it up. He's every bit the modern goalkeeper, Lucas McPartland. He is exceptional with his feet and quick to come off his line. Those are two qualities that are needed, especially with a team like St. Louis, who does keep a lot of the ball, but as mentioned, can leave some space in behind with their three defenders. Sweet feet from Carly. Now Tsukunome. Tsukunome drifting in behind, was able to stay onside. Sets it off for his teammates. As Alvarez finds Gaffney. Looked like there was some room to get the cross in. Cutting back, Tsukunome again. Spinning a spiral into nowhere. But it's an impressive regain with a booming header from Jasper Winslow. Tacoma pushing for an equalizer before the halftime break, trying to get back on level terms here at home. Gomez looking for the run of Tsukunome. Those are the positions they need the Japanese forward to find himself in. O'Neal dashes through, still O'Neal. Now Tsukunome. Such a good striker of the football, Yu Tsukunome. It can come to him in any position, and he will dig out a powerful shot. Not many players from that kind of shooting position are able to keep it hard along the grounds. That is the difficult part of that shot, but just wasn't able to find a corner. McPartland forced into a couple saves. That one at the near post on Emmert was a big, big moment as Emmert defends Lynch, and the referee not having any of the penalty appeals. CITY2 won't be given a second chance from the spot here in the 42nd minute. And Emmert and Lynch really enjoying this matchup now. Lynch got his goal, but in times where he's been isolated against Emmert, that's not where the tally came from. And defender can certainly take some confidence from that. He's supporting here for Gomez, who's got a one-on-one against Lynch, now forced to do some defending. Emmert's cross. An all-out attempt. Mark O'Neal was crashing through the front line, almost pushing Sukanome forward as they both went for this header, wrestling with the defender as well, and he's whistled for the foul. But great effort from Tacoma, just trying to get anything on the end of that cross, which was a delightful one from Emmert. I mean, he's only gotten in these attacking situations a couple of times, Mitchell Emmert, forward from left back. But when he has, he's looked extremely crafty. Listed as a midfielder in the team guide, and you get the sense that his long-term future is not necessarily as a full-time left fullback. But making a strong impression here on both ends, Emmert. Winslow plays it out right to Forcellini. There's a flailing arm that comes back and hits Gomez inadvertently. Forcellini doesn't know much about it, and the referee will keep his card in his pocket. So the final minute of our first 45, it has been an all-action contest between two teams opposite ends of the table, and yeah, the scoreline perhaps reflects what we may have been thinking heading into the match. CITY2 pressing for a second. This is such an important stage of the game now. Tacoma have really held their own against the undefeated reigning Shield winners. They've entered the box again. Alvarez fighting off attackers and sends it clear, earning a throw for Tacoma. There will be 1 minute of first half stoppage time.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute of added time.
Emmert.
1 minute.
Trying to craft up one more opportunity before the halftime break. That could just about see CITY2 to the locker room here. And there's the whistle from Brandon Stevens. A 35th minute goal from Riley Lynch is all that separates CITY2 and Tacoma after 45 minutes of play. The visitors had an early penalty kick saved by Max Anchor, and Tacoma has had their chances as well. Our score at the half is St. Louis 1, Tacoma 0. Coming up in our halftime show, our latest club hosts its first home match. We celebrate some of the awesome women who make MLS Next Pro work. But first, we'll take a short break.
Yeah. Boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still sticking ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now. Oh yes, man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Welcome back, Next Pro fans. It's time to celebrate Women's History Month. We have no shortage of female voices and leaders in the ranks of MLS Next Pro. Let's meet two very influential women in this feature.
Representation matters. I guess that's why you're seeing my face here today. It's something I typically shy away from, but I think seeing women matters, especially during Women's History Month. The opportunity for women in a male-dominated sport can, and should happen, and it doesn't have to just be at the ownership level.
You know, leadership is not a title, it's a state of mind, and you really don't have to wait for permission to be a leader. You know, leadership can look very different. It doesn't have a defined profile. Carolina Core is just a soccer team, but it's also more than that. It's a part of this ecosystem of creating access to opportunity and jobs. You know, this place is special, but we've lost a lot of jobs when manufacturing's went overseas. And when opportunity leaves a place, so does the sense of pride and so does the sense of belonging. And Carolina Core FC is bringing that back. This club is the community's club. You know, this belongs to the great Carolina Core. And so my responsibility is to make sure that this club is a club for everybody, that they see themselves in this, and that I'm leading with conviction in what we stand for.
I think our mission at CITY United has been that we provide access and opportunity. We've started with that with the Academy, removing barriers of payment, and we found a wealth of talent here in the state of Connecticut as well as its surrounding cities and towns. Right now our state is pretty much split, and so you have many people that for any kind of live professional entertainment, they're going to New York or they're going to Massachusetts. Why not have that here in the state of Connecticut and provide something that they can have that's family friendly and fun?
What success is for me with this club is this is a place for access to opportunity. That if you come to this club, this is a launch pad for your career.
We want to be competitive on the field. I love winning, but that's on and off the pitch. We have to be successful in making sure that we can galvanize fans behind it, and we have to be successful in making something that is meaningful for the community.
And another moment that I just love each match is at the end of the game, our players stay on the pitch afterwards, and anybody can go down and get autograph signs. And to see the young fans be able to interact with our players is one of my favorite moments.
Women's History Month I think it's really about representation, and I think it is learning what has happened before, creating opportunities for forward momentum and progression. I think there's a lot of work that has to be done, and that's not just through the lens of soccer, but I think making opportunities, that's what Women's History Month is all about, and I think it's recognizing that fact and making sure that we celebrate those moments.
Welcome to the 2024 MLS Next Pro Pick Your Opponent, or PYO as the kids are calling it. To be able to pick your opponent, if you finish at the top of your conference, you should have that right. And we're giving those teams here that exactly. We now turn the page to Philadelphia Union 2. Who is going to be your selection?
We wanted to pick someone that our fans love to hate and could get behind the game, but unfortunately Red Bull wasn't available for this call, so we went with New York City FC.
The #1 overall seed North Texas would surprise us by not selecting a conventional pick.
Vancouver has been a very good season. They play really well, but we want to try ourselves.
It is time to kick off the 2024 MLS Next Pro playoffs. We start today with the conference quarterfinals in the Eastern Conference.
We welcome you to the Western Conference playoffs in MLS Next Pro.
The Eastern Conference quarterfinals continue.
The stage is set for the postseason. A terrific matchup on hand today.
Welcome back. As you just saw, that all-access feature from last season was nominated for a Webby. Good luck to the video team as judging is underway and winners will be announced sometime next month. Last Saturday, CITY United hosted its first MLS Next Pro match. Let's revisit this feature on the league's newest member.
This is Connecticut's newest club, built for the entire state, not just one city.
Connecticut's a pretty culturally diverse state. Doesn't really have one major city. There's a bunch of small cities that are pretty close to each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage the founding partner of Connecticut Sports Group, Mr. Andre Swanston.
I remember feeling like, okay, it's on now, because talk is cheap. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I'm going to own the team, and da-da-da. You hear that all day, every day, everywhere. And so it kind of, you know, it was late 2023 when kind of everything went through. We knew it was approved and it was going to happen. And it was just kind of, Michelle and I were like, all right, okay, it's on now, like, let's go.
I want to thank all of you who have made today possible and who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to bring these ideas to life, including the entire team from the Connecticut Sports Group.
Before the first professional match, the foundation was already in motion. In 2024, CITY United launched its professional academy.
We started our academy first because we wanted to, one, make CITY United tangible to the community and so they could see it, touch it, feel it, that we're here.
One of my first conversations with Andre and Michelle, when I met with them and we really started discussing, you know, their vision and what they wanted for their football team in the state of Connecticut, the ambitions, they're breaking down the barriers for giving kids opportunities to play in the academy. Once you have that idea, then I think it becomes pretty clear in terms of now bringing in the right people in your staff and to start to identify the right type of players you want to come in.
It starts in MLS Next, and it continues in MLS Next Pro.
I think we're headed in the right direction. You know, we have a good group of guys. Coaching staff is alive and ready. And I think we're just pushing towards, you know, the start of the season and looking to have a good season.
We knew that we wanted a team that was entertaining. We wanted a team that was going to dominate with the ball and against the ball. A team that looked to play forward, a team that is aggressive.
They're entertaining players, man. I mean, I'm really excited being in the league for 4 years and seeing the group that we're gathering together makes me happy.
What the ownership and the sporting director laid out to me, we had a couple of calls before I decided to join the team. It was very ambitious. I like what they have planned for the team, and I like the future, and I want to be part of this project. We have a lot of young players, so I know we're going to be very energetic. We're all here to learn, to get better, and you know, when you're young, your brain is like a sponge.
So, here's the standard.
Connecticut is used to winning. We've got to show them like we're playing for real, like we're not messing around. And then also I think with being the only black owner in the league, like I'm not losing, right? Like I refuse to make it seem like I can't build something that can compete on the level.
Thanks for hanging out with us at halftime on this Friday night in MLS Next Pro. St. Louis City 2 with a 1-0 lead on Tacoma Defiance as we stand at the break. We'll show you the highlights in just a minute, but first we'll check out the other scores around the league, starting with a look back at some recent tallies. And there were a couple games throughout the week. There was one on Monday with FC Cincinnati notching a win in the Eastern Conference. And then on Wednesday night, Timbers 2 getting the 1-0 result against LAFC 2. And plenty more action on tap this weekend as well. Got a couple of good games tomorrow. I'll be with you for Crew 2 and New England Revolution. Early slot, 3 p.m. That should be a fun matchup. And then some good stuff going on out west as well. Ventura County, Austin FC, the nightcap tomorrow on Saturday. So we will go ahead and take a look now at our halftime highlights. It was an eventful first 45 minutes, and it started just a couple minutes in with a penalty kick given to St. Louis City. I have to say, on first look, there didn't seem to be a ton of contact. But Max Anchor with his big save there, given the ability to say, hey, ball don't lie. And it was a chance for Emmer, saved by McPartland to keep the game at 0-0 until Riley Lynch found the back of the net. And that was all she wrote for the first half action. St. Louis 1, Tacoma 0, our second half kickoff, just moments away. Don't go anywhere.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
The unique energy of a Sunday night. Ideal for calm music, whispers, stargazing, reflection, and a relaxed environment. Sunday nights were made for this.
(1-0) after 45 minutes between St. Louis City 2 and Tacoma Defiance. The home team still seeking its first win of the season. St. Louis City 2 trying to keep its undefeated start alive. And after a first half where both teams will feel like they could have gotten more out of the chances that they created, the only question we really have to ask here is, what's going to be next? Because the early portions of games have meant very little to the results of these two teams throughout the season so far. We've gone into detail some of the crazy comebacks that both sides have been a part of, and that's both on the winning side and the losing side, the shootout side, the draws. No result has been secured this early in a match throughout the year when it comes to St. Louis City 2 and Tacoma Defiance. I mean, the last match, St. Louis was down 2-0 at halftime. They get a red card, and they're still able to take it to penalties. Tacoma, in their last match, scored first and then lost on the final kick of the match. In fact, Tacoma has given up game-winning goals in the last 15 minutes in each of their last 3 losses. That's how late all the drama has come. But they've also been the authors of a comeback from down 2 goals against LAFC2 earlier this year, when they were able to force a penalty kick shootout with a pair of goals after the 80-minute mark. So nothing certain after a first half that these two teams took turns being on the front foot. CITY2 with that early penalty kick opportunity that was saved by Max Anchor in the Tacoma net. Tacoma responded very well, created some chances. CITY2 had another spell on top of it that led to their set-piece goal, and it was a momentary lapse of focus from the Tacoma back line, but over the course of the run of play, pretty even through 45 minutes as we start off the second half. Parker Johnson here with you to have your company on this Friday night. We're so glad that you've joined us on MLSNextPro.com and the OneFootball app. The standalone game going on at the moment. There's one other MLS fixture. We did have the One Next Pro match earlier with Toronto FC2 taking down the Union. McPartland racing out of goal. And it finds the feet of Palmer Alt, who's able to bring Sidney Paris into the play. Lynch looking for a second. Alvarez sends it out. Well, Riley Lynch really picking up where he left off at the end of that first half. Going right at Mitchell Emmert yet again. That was a very fun matchup to watch. Lynch scoring the goal off of the set piece. His second of the season. To go along with 4 assists. I was talking to David Critchley earlier this week as it's played inside here to Forcellini, and he really had some shining comments about Riley Lynch. He said that in terms of development from day one to this point in the season, he has shown more growth than any other player on this St. Louis roster. Player who, when he came into preseason, was focused on learning the ins and outs of the wingback position. He's always been a more dynamic attacking profile, and I think once they settled on the fact that he could just be an all-out winger in their 3-4-3, play on that front line, flanked by the likes of Palmer Alt and Forcellini and the great wingbacks that they have in the St. Louis program. He could really shine. It's a strike here. Rebound still loose. Forcellini picking up the pieces and finding DeGans, who assisted the first half goal. His cross. Header contested by Wagner. Good defensive work from Sebastian Gomez to get it away. And now a man tugged down as Pearson drags Flores back. And that draws our first yellow card of the match. It is Christopher Pearson going in the book. A man who has been called into the Jamaican national team in his past, 23 years of age. Developed at Cavalier FC, one of the most famous clubs on the Caribbean nation. He also played at FC Tulsa, Huntsville City, and with Crew 2 here in Next Pro, combining for over 80 professional appearances. No stranger to a yellow card. He's battling with the teenager Flores tonight, who has earned a start after scoring his first professional goal last time out against Vancouver Whitecaps 2. Wasn't enough to get 3 points for Tacoma on that occasion. Winslow, clever footwork. Dinked forward. Lovely play here from Tacoma. And it's Sukanome dispossessed before he could pick out the final pass. That brings an opportunity for Alt. Shifting on Winslow. Waiting for the help to arrive. He's got Lynch there. To the end line. Fired across. Anchor able to meet it before anybody was there on the backside. Not the body feint from the Tacoma goalkeeper. All 11 players got to be able to play football here in 2026. Both these goalkeepers have shown that throughout the match. Anchor gesturing for more from his back line as they try to pick up the pace of play here. Emmert's forced back, but he's able to take up a position in the midfield. He wanted to get that ball back. They play it long to Gaffney on the switch, and that has been the method of attack over and over and over for Tacoma, trying to hit the long field switch and exploit the room in behind the left wing back of St. Louis and outside of those three center backs. Those are the pockets that Colorado Rapids 2 was able to exploit, and credit to St. Louis. They've done a much better job tonight shutting it down than they did last Friday against Colorado, where that was the way they conceded their second goal, and David Critchley was well aware of that. I asked him what they had to clean up from that match, and he said that was a goal they showed in the film room and discussed how they needed to defend those wide areas better, watch out for the long balls, and negate that space in behind, and they've been much better at it here against Tacoma, but that doesn't mean the home side are going to stop trying. Pearson will hit a long ball of his own, and it's a beautiful one. Picking out Pierce. Flick through Paris. Tough one for him to track down. Alvarez had to keep it in play. Pearson discarding Flores. Already on a yellow. Referee didn't see anything in it. Pierce. Ball just held up on the turf. Now it's into the feet of Flores. Can they find the switch here? It was on, but Carly couldn't get it out of his feet. Play on, says the referee. Sliding tackle from behind. Perfectly done by Mark O'Neill, but given right back. Edge of the area for Cellini. And that is a cheap corner to give away. O'Neill frustrated after busting a lung to get back. He puts in an inch-perfect tackle from behind. So easy to get that one wrong. And if you do, you are certainly going in the referee's book. He won the ball back and then wasn't there to receive the next pass from Carly. So a corner coming for St. Louis. This is the side where they did eventually score from. It was the second ball that came in. This time the first one brings out Anchor. Header necessary from Winslow to get it out on the far side. Flores wins his team to throw, and Tacoma can get their way up the pitch. Sounders FC is proud to partner with Regents Blue Shield, a health plan powering Washington's health and wellness for more than 100 years. Anchor just checking on the wellness of his own midfielder there, Edson Carley. 18 years old and finally earning his full pro contract this year after joining the academy back in 2022. Emmert brings it forward. Gomez sends in the cross. Flores didn't go for the header. Tried to pick up the second ball instead. And Tacoma forced to restart it. Looked like such a promising position initially. Tough for Flores to get any kind of jump on the center backs. This is one for Sukanome to chase. In the end, pretty well measured for McPartland on the back pass. Sent over the top. Gaffney's in behind. Sukanome is there. Is he onside? He's put it in the net. And it's 1-1. An opportunistic strike in the 57th minute. And it's Yu Tsukanome, the record-breaking goal scorer, who notches his second of the season. Gaffney plays it early. His second assist in as many games. And a perfect finish with McPartland closing down the space. Tsukanome takes it on his left and absolutely buries it. The high line biting St. Louis. And on the heels of the goal, a switch comes on for Tacoma. It's Paulo Nagamura going to the bench and solidifying their midfield. They brought in Xavi Nyalati, who started the first 5 matches of the year, missed the last game, and now comes off the bench. Well, you put as many balls in the back of the net as Yu Tsukanome, and you quickly become a fan favorite. 21 goals in all competitions last season. That his second of the year, his first since March 1st against LAFC. That was their first game of the season. And for a player like him, that qualifies as a goal drought. Emmert, oh, the whistle had gone as Tsukanome again plants it in the back of the net, but that was a foul on Tacoma as Emmert broke free. They can feel the softness of St. Louis. They saw Colorado Rapids come back last week and work their way back into the match. Or rather, take it to St. Louis. Force them to respond, and Tacoma from the bottom of the standings doing much the same this time around. They have not played scared, and they were ruthless with the way that they created that equalizer. O'Neal launching it in the direction of Gaffney. We will see a substitution here from David Critchley. Referee assuring that Sydney Paris goes off on the far side of the field to speed up this delay as much as possible as Jamon Barkley makes his way onto the pitch.
Number 43, Sydney Paris. Replaced by number 6.
Barkley in his first pro season, 22 years old, out of Portmore Pines in Jamaica, where he has appeared for the under-20 national team. Barkley has a goal and 2 assists to his name in this campaign for St. Louis. Like-for-like swap at the left wing-back position. He'll tuck in front of DeGans and just behind Riley Lynch, who appears to have shifted over to that side. Neat turn from Yalati. Spotted a ball through for Flores. Wasn't able to find the crease. You can immediately see the quality on the ball that he has, though. He's such a crucial player to the way that Tacoma built their attacks throughout those first 5 matches. There's a big hole there when he was missing against Vancouver. You don't find a lot of players at this level who've spent the majority of their pro career in the USL Championship, but that is the case for Nyalati. Lynch kept in play well by Anchor. That is a smart decision to rush out and save it from going behind for a corner. Much safer in his hands as he draws in Palmer Alts. Blasted forward, nearly getting through for Gaffney. Again, that's the spot. Tacoma just hammering away at it again and again. Convinced that eventually they will find a way through behind the back 3 of St. Louis. Similar to how they created the goal too, although that was from a more quick and broken phase of play. But similar idea, just knocking it in behind the back 3 where they don't have any cover. Flores set to be black and blue after this game. He's had quite a battle on his hands in his first start here, or second start of the season, I should say. Clearance skewing out for a St. Louis throw. Lynch wanted to let that run through. Well read by the defender as Barkley puts on the pressure. St. Louis yet to create a whole lot in the second half. As we remind you that this portion of the match is brought to you by the Western Washington Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Lillington setting up for the long throw. Wicking away the moisture. And he hurls right near the penalty spot. A pair of headers see it out. The last by Gomez. Out for a goal kick, and well defended in the end by Tacoma. Have to say that group at the back has looked really strong for Defiance. It's really been the case all season. Defensively, they've been quite stout. And it's the defenders who start the attack here. Gomez into the box. Into a decent shooting position. He's taken off of it by Lillington there. A clean tackle, a forceful one. McDonald. Tacoma unable to get out. Alt recycles it to Forcellini. Defiance shifting back and forth. Trying to keep St. Louis from getting in behind. Another strong clearance. Pressure from Tsukunome. Nyalati got a piece. Lynch at full stretch. And likewise, Alvarez able to slide it out of play and draw a big cheer from the crowd. This defensive sequence, dogged from Defiance. Love just watching and listening to the communication of these guys as they shift around their block, and St. Louis chirp at each other about how they can find a way through. And when in doubt, huck it into the 6-yard box. I mean, that's one effective way to get the ball in there. That's what Lillington will try to do. They're right on top of the goalkeeper. Another strong header away. Make it 2 from O'Neal, who was feeling it after that play. Numbers flooding forward for Tacoma, and the pass to reach them was not good enough. There was a chance there. Lillington's here on the overlap. Barkley couldn't find him. O'Neal. Flores is offside. A split-second mistiming as he strided in behind. O'Neal again showing that range of passing and ability to carry the ball through the midfield. He doesn't look out of place as a central midfield player at all. After spending most of his career as a center back. It's quite a nice little pivot combo he's got with Nyalati, and it was Carly who started in there for most of the match, allowing the player next to him to have a little more freedom to go up the pitch with his natural defensive positioning so strong. And then that second forward or attacking midfielder ahead of them, in this case, Tsukunome, able to be the schemer underneath the striker. It's a nice balance for Nagamura's team. Still some difference makers he could call upon from the bench as well. You got the likes of Danny Robles, seasoned Next Pro veteran, Rafael Jauregui, Mark Bronick. Two players who have created goals off the bench earlier this year. Of course, St. Louis well-stocked as well. They brought in Caden Glover, who has not made an appearance with the Next Pro side this season, but a strong attacking option. Got the academy winger, Lorenzo Cornelius, on the bench as well. It's been their star man up front, Palmer Alt, who's been pretty quiet through 70 minutes. Can't recall a shot that he's had on goal, or really even a moment that he's ever had a look at the net. That defensive group from Tacoma has done an outstanding job. Sanez, Alvarez, some reinforcement from O'Neal and Winslow, who's been steady back there all year. Set piece coming for Andrew DeGans, who assisted the opening goal of the match. Hooked in, sent clear by Tsukunome. High ball, falls to Lynch, top of the 18. Charlie Gaffney defending strong. That's a stinger for Alvarez. Down goes O'Neal. And this will be a yellow card for Patrick McDonald. Second City 2 player to draw a caution from Brandon Stevis. He goes in alongside Chris Pearson in the referee's book. So we get another look. Gets the ball on the first one, and then it's the step there on the ankle of O'Neal. That one's going to hurt, and it is quite dangerous coming in from that side angle. No ill intent in it, but definitely a type of play that can cause some damage, and appropriately booked. This portion of the match is brought to you by Columbia Bank. So we settle in for the final 16 minutes plus stoppage time and potentially a shootout if the score remains the same. That's Tsukunome trying to change that. Second half goal scorer for Tacoma. He finds Emmert. It's back to Tsukunome! Saved off the post! What a moment. Emmert finds the trailing run. Great control. And top reflexes from Lucas McPartland, who City 2 has to thank for this thing still being level. They push back the other way. Curled cross, punch from Max Anchor. Referee doing his best to stay out of the way. Sebastian Gomez, the first teamer, knocking it out and winning a throw for Tacoma. That really felt like it could have been the moment for Defiance to snatch the lead. It's been such a strong second half. And the moments where they've broken out quickly have caused real trouble. There was a whistle that went early on that play. Not sure exactly what happened, but man, what a finish from Xavi Nialati. Taking it off his chest and banging it off the post. I guess a push in behind there from Leo Flores. He can't be offside on a throw-in, so that's not what it was. Lillington, a little too big on the touch. Tsukunome helping hold it up. And the quick throw will be stopped here for a substitution. Tacoma is furious. Flores had gotten in behind Pearson, and again, can't be offside on a throw, so he would have been through and clear there, and the referee forcing them to retake it, but in fact, they won't do the sub there. So even more frustration for Tacoma. That's how they've caught out St. Louis a couple of times, just being quick and being able to sneak that ball in behind. Not allowed to do it from the throw-in. Into the final stages. Next Pro After Dark. Parker Johnson here with you. Up late on the East Coast. Just past 8:30 local time. On a match that has put on display what Tacoma head coach Paolo Nagamura told me coming in. So it's Forcellini out for a throw, which is that he thinks there really is not much separation in the Western Conference. He does not think there is one standout team that he has seen so far this year, with as great as St. Louis and Houston and Ventura County have been. Tacoma's played some of the best teams, and they may not have the results, but his belief is that this conference is close, and his team is putting that to the test.
Replaced by number 46.
And St. Louis making a bold switch here. They have taken off a center back in Chris Pearson, who was on a yellow card, and they are bringing in the forward Caden Glover, who scored 3 goals in 25 appearances last year, half of those coming off the bench for City 2. A homegrown player in for the first team, and he makes his first appearance of 2026 with the second side. So that will definitely shake up the lineup. Might be going to a 4-back setup here unless somebody else is dropping in. So we will follow those tactical tweaks from David Critchley. And we hear that some attacking changes may be on the way for Tacoma as well shortly. It's time for the game changers to step up and make a difference. Sukanome, his influence has grown in the second half. Already has the equalizer. Nearly got a second. Forcellini working with Lynch. O'Neal is there. His hand was up, and it is a penalty kick. The second of the match for St. Louis. O'Neal giving everything to block that cross, and he left his hands in an unfortunate position. But which hand did it hit? Because if that is his trailing hand, the one that is supporting him on the ground, that is not supposed to be grounds for a penalty. If it's his left hand that was not supporting his slide, that was up in an unnatural position, then that is certainly something that could be given as a spot kick, but that is a tricky one. Referee has made a firm decision, and it is the second penalty kick awarded to St. Louis. The first one was taken by Forcellini. This one will be taken by the second half substitute, Barkley. Anchor saved the first down to his left. With an even scoreline, Barkley on the spot, and it's 2-1 St. Louis. Another late go-ahead goal conceded by Tacoma. And here's another look at how it happened. It does hit that left hand. I think it actually hits both. Mark O'Neal with a sense of resignation. And you can't fault him for his effort, but when you leave your hand up like that, the referee entitled to make the decision. This time St. Louis convert, and Tacoma will have to chase the match once again.
Replaced by number 42, Rafael Angel.
They're on a 3-game losing streak, during which they have conceded game-winning goals in the 88th minute to Austin, in the 74th minute to Ventura County, and last week in the 97th minute, the final kick of the match against Vancouver. This one in the 82nd from Jamon Barkley. Does Tacoma have it in them to claw back an equalizer? Or is this unfortunate run of form going to continue at home against the Western Conference leaders? Alt looking for the return. Glover second to it. And Sukanome trying to surge forward. Emmerts. Lovely touch from Nyalati. Flores out to Emmert again. His cross punched by McPartland, but not so convincingly. Alvarez finds Gomez. Mark O'Neal is lurking at the edge of the area and waiting for an opportunity to potentially pounce on a header. He's been a goal-scoring menace throughout his career, no matter what position he's played at. Helping out as an auxiliary forward as Tacoma are desperate to get a goal back. Desperate for their first win of the season, but it would require some real late heroics now. After conceding their second penalty kick of the match, converted by Barkley on what looks like the game-winning goal. Winslow. Gomez from a deeper position. Jauregui. Oh, he put it in a great spot. And the run's arriving a little bit too late. It was O'Neal. And also Nyalati, the nominal two center midfielders. Holding midfielders, that is. So you see them combining here in their own center circle, who were surging into the center forward position. So very clear instructions from Paulo Nagamura at this point. They have nothing to lose and take as many risks as you please. St. Louis trying to apply a little bit of pressure just to make that first. Nyalati into the feet of Flores. Jauregui again. Tsukunome prodding at the defense. Alvarez keeps it on the ground. Jauregui on the right wing. Corner coming for Tacoma. The pressure building. St. Louis trying desperately to see this out. Gomez to serve up an outswinging corner. Looking for a second cross. It strikes an arm, but it was in a natural position, according to the referee. Off the backside this time. And the midsection. And another corner. Disappointing cross that time from Gomez. Jauregui has a chance. And his leaves some to be desired as well. Play continues. Jauregui slashes it in. O'Neal stabbing it through, looking for Tsukunome. We already saw with St. Louis's first goal how dangerous those second phases can be from set pieces. And even if that first ball in isn't great, if you're able to get another one in quickly while your big bodies are still up and the defense is disorganized, can provide just as good of an opportunity. Their shape is all over the place now with Emert at right back and Gallatin Sandez handing it off to Nyalati. Clip forward for Gomez. Does well up against the towering center back Lillington. Winslow. Leo Flores. Anchor was pretty far out of goal. He's been holding a high position and it teased Caden Glover into an effort that did not come off at all and gives the ball right back to Tacoma. Substitutions being ready from both teams. As it's sent into the box again, and Barkley waiting to see if his keeper would come out and get it. McPartland stays put, and he has to head it behind for a corner. 4 minutes of stoppage time to come. Now Lotti's ball, header. Another save for McPartland, and another corner for Tacoma.
The substitution for your Defiance, leaving the bench, number 47, Damian Alvarez.
The service was into a better area, but
Replaced by number 81,
it didn't have enough power. And the Tacoma attacker had to generate it all himself. So we'll see the sub here. It's going to be Damian Alvarez coming off and Mark Bronick coming on. That is a center back off for a forward player. As Bronick will try to replicate the heroics off the bench from his club debut, where he notched his only goal of the season against LAFC. Alvarez with a fine performance. Nialati curls it near post. Headed out by St. Louis. And now we'll get the St. Louis subs. They had 2 waiting, as they will bring on some defensive reinforcements here. Palmer Altz set to depart, as is Forcellini. Forcellini will have to spend the trip home thinking about his missed penalty all the way back in the 3rd minute. That would have served as quite a bit of insurance at this point in the match. The St. Louis looks to hold on. Adeteye Jabatahan into the midfield as well. And he replaces another attacking player. So it's all hands on deck for St. Louis. Tacoma's brought on an extra forward. And there is no doubt about where the last couple minutes of this match will take place. It is deep in St. Louis's own end. Tempers flaring between Nialati and trying to figure out who that is on the St. Louis side, but really upset with the Tacoma midfielder after that battle down in the corner. I think that was Caden Glover. In any case, a free kick and a moment to breathe for St. Louis. McPartland will get it as far away from his goal as he can manage. But it's back to Max Anchor. Not the best ball out. Emmert forced into some evasive action, and it's out to Jauregui. Worked out okay for Tacoma. The switch is on now. Now Lati. Contested header for Winslow. Falls on the far side. Tsukunome whipping in. McPartland comes. 1 minute remaining in second half stoppage time. Emmerts. His ball through, deflected. It could be fortunate as it falls to Jauregui. Out comes McPartland. Very well claimed. They're close now. St. Louis almost over the line. Jauregui needed to send that in with a little bit more heat. 15 seconds left. Tacoma staring down the barrel of a 4th consecutive defeat. Flicked on. Flores may have the last opportunity. Bronick arriving as well. O'Neal trying to keep it alive. In the dying moments for Tacoma, it's going to be a free kick. Well, this almost assuredly will be the last kick of the game. Max Anchor appears to know it, as he is going to spend some time getting acquainted with Lucas McPartland. That is some real gamesmanship now from the Tacoma goalkeeper. He's interfering with McPartland as he tries to set his wall. I have seen a lot. This is a new one, but I can tell you as a former goalkeeper, if I was in McPartland's shoes here, I would be very aggravated. And in that regard, I say, well played, I guess, by Max Anchor. Anything to help the team win, right? Any little edge. Now McPartland has to, as they all wait for the referee's whistle, goes to his other post to check the wall. There's 5 men in it for St. Louis. There's no shortage of height. There's men either side as well. It's going to come down to Nyalati, it appears, as Tsukunome makes way. This is the final kick. Nyalati breeze. He hits into the wall. Rebound shot, deflection, and McPartland takes it home for St. Louis. They hang on desperately in the final moments. And in the end, it is an 82nd minute game-winning goal from that man, Jamon Barkley, who is our man of the match, presented by Adidas. It took a penalty kick in the 82nd minute, and after Anchor stepped up and saved one way back in the first half, it took nerves of steel from the Jamaican international, who slotted it home calmly. And after coming on as a substitute in the second half, he earns our man of the match honors. A hard-fought victory for St. Louis, who keep their unbeaten run alive. They notch their 5th win of the season and improve to 19 points, still atop the Western Conference standings. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, my name is Parker Johnson. I say once again, our final score, St. Louis 2, Tacoma 1. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and the OneFootball app. Have a great night, everybody.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.